Welcome to the Next Level Facebook Ads Podcast with Phil Graham. We help you master Facebook ads and give you an unfair advantage over your competition. Are you ready? Let's go.
What's up, podcast family? Welcome to the Next Level Facebook Ads Podcast, episode 379. I'm Phil Graham. Today, I'm going to be sharing 7 Facebook and Instagram ad mistakes that could sabotage your success. So I'll tell you what, advertisers make so many mistakes. I could literally do a mistakes episode every single week for a year and still not cover all of them. But today, I want to cover just some of the more common mistakes that people are making that are big mistakes, things that can make a huge difference and potentially cost you a lot of time and money. So if you're advertising or wanting to advertise and you're either not making enough money or you don't have enough customers or clients, you want to make sure that you aren't making these mistakes. Now, before we jump in, I just wanted to briefly mention, if you guys are looking for any one-on-one coaching to learn ads, to learn marketing the right way, or if you want somebody to run your ads for you, just go to my website, philgrahamdigital.com, or DM me on Instagram at philgrahamdigital. I would love to connect with you. I love working with people and helping as much as I can. All right, so let's dive right in and talk about these 7 different mistakes, because these are big and they have the ability to really potentially mess you up. So number 1 is going to be a little controversial, but it is so important. I have to mention it. It's bad targeting. Specifically, I do not recommend that you only use Advantage Plus audiences. Now, there are some exceptions to this. Let me say that there are exceptions, but for a lot of advertisers, just using Advantage Plus can be super tough, can cost you a lot of time and money. I've talked to so many people that have done that because they either just thought that was the right thing to do or Facebook said it was, and they kept having to raise their budget and they kept having to wait months and months, and they were hoping for it to work, and it never did. You're not Coca-Cola. You can't wait forever for stuff like this to work, and you don't have an unlimited budget like some big company. So I do love Advantage Plus. I use Advantage Plus a lot, but I don't only use it for most clients. There are a few here and there where it might be the right thing to do, but for most clients, I do a mix of audiences. We're going to talk about another mistake when it comes to that in just a minute, but I just wouldn't recommend only doing Advantage Plus and having this large, broad audience. And a lot of times people have that with a small budget as well, and it'll literally probably take forever, meaning never, to see if it works. So I would not make that mistake. But let me be clear. I like Advantage Plus. I use it, but it's not the only thing I use in many situations. And I recommend you guys use other audiences as well. The second mistake is bad ad creatives. This is kind of a no-brainer. I think a lot of people know that, yet they still do it. They still think they can just put anything out there and it might work. And you know what a lot of people do? They look at what other people are doing, whether it's competitors or just anybody they see running ads, and they do things that are similar. That's one of the worst things you can do, because you need to be different. You need to stand out. Plus, I'm here to tell you, so many of the ads I look at and the accounts I look at are not very good. So if you are copying what somebody else is doing, there's a good chance you're copying things that are failing anyway. Plus, you're not going to be different. So when you're working with your creatives, number 1, stand out. Be different. Don't look like everything else that's out there. I see a lot of creatives without a strong call to action. A lot of creatives that are boring. Other times I'll just see pure sales pitches, just pure spam. There's a time and place to do that, but you also want to make sure that you're running ads that give some value, that inspire people and have empathy and connect with them as well. So make sure you guys are testing your creatives, that they're not boring and that they look and sound and feel different to what else is out there, especially with your competitors and what else is in your industry. Mistake number 3 is ignoring audience segmentation. So this is what I was talking about when people are only doing like Advantage Plus. I love segmented audiences. When you ignore this and you don't segment an audience based off of like behavior, interests, age ranges, demographics, or even actions that they take, then that can lead to just generic messaging on your ads and ads that don't really resonate or work very well. Again, there's variables and exceptions, and there's reasons why we might not do that in every situation, but I could show you tons of segmented audience ads that have worked really well and that many times work way better than Advantage Plus. Again, I do both. Sometimes Advantage Plus works better, other times segmentation and interest audiences work better. So the key is you want to make sure that you test these different things. And I think it's a big mistake if you're not testing and running segmented audiences because they have such power. You can segment your audience so many different ways, and then you can match your ad copy to who you're targeting. It's really powerful, and I think it's a big mistake to not do that. Number 4, another huge mistake that I see people making, lots of advertisers do this, is having unoptimized landing pages, sales pages, and websites. You could have the best ads in the world, but if you're sending people to a page that is not optimized, then you're going to have problems. This includes mobile optimization. Most of the people looking at your website and your landing pages are going to be on the phone. How does that site look on the phone? How fast is it? How does it work? You want to make sure it's perfect for mobile optimization because that is so important. You want to make sure that your site loads really fast. One of the first things I look at if somebody is not converting, but the ad data is really good, is how fast is that landing page loading? If it's loading more than 2 or 3 seconds, if it's taking longer to load, that is an issue. So you want to make sure your site and your landing pages specifically are loading fast. You also want to make sure that they're not too busy, that you don't have too many things for somebody to do, that you don't have a bunch of annoying spam on there, and that it's clear that you've got a good hook and a good hook story and offer format, all those types of things and many more. I've done episodes just on this one thing alone in the past, and I'll definitely do more in the future. But make sure that you're not only paying attention to your ads, but you're also paying just as much attention to your landing pages and your sales pages when it comes to what's on there, what can you change to make it better, and just the overall quality of those pages. Number 5, big mistake a lot of advertisers make is failing to use data to make decisions and failing to adapt and adjust based off of that data. What so many advertisers do is they randomly run ads. They do it without a strategy. And they're like, oh, it didn't work. Let me just turn this off. There's no strategy involved. They might be turning off the best ad they've ever run. They just didn't give it enough time or not, but they don't know. And there's no strategy. And they're just kind of going off of emotion. They're not using skill to make good decisions. But when you're running ads, everything should be done strategically in a plan. There should be a reason for everything. You should be able to learn why something didn't work and why it did work, and then take action because of that and really use data to guide you. Yet hardly any other advertisers do this. So make sure that you are not making those mistakes, because if you are, it's probably going to cost you a lot of time and money. Number 6, another big mistake that people make is either having an improper budget or having the wrong expectations for their ad budget. So for example, an improper budget, and I don't know if that's really the right word for it, because if you had to, it's better than nothing. But let's say you have a big Advantage Plus audience of like 50 million people, and you've got a budget of $5 a day. That's going to be a tough one. It's going to be tough. You might want to go segmented if you can only spend a small amount. Or the other part of this mistake is having the wrong expectations. If you're spending $5 or $10 a day, you really shouldn't have expectations of somebody that might be spending $100 a day. You've got to have those expectations in line with what you're spending. Now, if you are spending on the lower end of things, it doesn't mean you can't grow and succeed and spend more and more as time goes on. But you got to make sure that you know what to expect and that you follow the data so you can grow. And that can make a big difference. And last but not least, my friends, number 7, huge mistake so many people make is they copy fake gurus, whether it's copying them or listening to them. Fake gurus, they copy other advertisers. They use templates that people say will give them all kinds of great things and guarantee them riches and all this BS. Or they even equate followers and likes and engagement on social media with success. That is a dangerous, dangerous road. There are so many people that post things. In fact, there's people that post things all day, every day. You should look at that in a different way. That's like a big red flag to me because, like, what are they doing? Do they actually have a business if that's all they're doing? Yet some people will see somebody that does that and think, oh, this person has all these followers. They must know what they're talking about. Well, a lot of times, no, they just either know how to buy the followers or they know how to post all day, which is what social media wants you to do. They want you to be on there all day and give your life to it. But that doesn't mean you're good at what you do. So you got to be careful of who you listen to because that stuff doesn't equate to skill. A lot of people come to me after listening to people like that and losing time and money, and that could have all been avoided. Now, that doesn't mean there's some magic formula that I have or somebody else has that works 100% of the time and it's guaranteed for success. That's not how it works. However, you should be careful who you listen to. You really should. There's a lot of crap out there. Avoid anybody who makes it seem like it's easy or promises get rich quick or promises results or talks about themselves all the time or shows the cars they drive, like all that stuff. I think you guys probably already kind of instinctively know this, but there's still a lot of people that get taken advantage of. And so I feel like it's important to mention it in this kind of an episode. So just be very careful. So those are 7 big mistakes that I feel people make pretty frequently. A lot of advertisers make those. There's obviously exceptions. Maybe you can make a mistake and still succeed. I'm not saying you could never do any of these things, but if it were me, I wouldn't want to make these mistakes. And I don't recommend you make them either because I think it'll make it a lot tougher for you. So make sure you guys go through these and hopefully you are not making these mistakes. Thank you guys so much for being here, my friends. Episode 379 is in the books. I'll be back next week with another great episode full of value, short and sweet. And until then, if you want to connect, philgrahamdigital.com is the website, or you can DM me on Instagram at philgrahamdigital, and I will talk to you on next week's episode. Peace out.
Thanks for listening to the Next Level Facebook Ads Podcast. Please remember to subscribe and share this with all your friends. For show notes, more tips, and to learn more about Phil, please visit philgrahamdigital.com/podcast.